How are you?
Hello,
Hello, I can hear you now.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Good yourself? Nice to meet
Good.
you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Bruno. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for participating in the workshop. I really appreciate your participation and congratulations for winning the first draw.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very informal conversation, Bruno. I would like you to introduce yourself, please, and what your name and where are you now? What type of engineering have you completed? Looks like you are in Australia, so how long ago you came to Australia, and what's your plan for the future, and what's your questions?
Well, nice to meet you. My name is Bruno. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Jaguaruna, Santa Catarina.
All
It's a
right.
small city. And it's kind of surprised me because I didn't know the interview, the conversation was gonna be in English, but it is what it is.
Your English is pretty
And
good, Bruno.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'm an electrical engineer from Brazil. I'm graduated in back to 2015 in Universidade do Estado de Santa Catarina in Joinville, Brazil. After that, I have a little bit of experience as a professor, as a teacher, and like a trainer in the Instituto Federal de Santa Catarina. And I decided to come to Australia because I didn't have an English. I didn't know how to speak in English. So back in 2018, I came to Sydney. I studied English. I did my diploma in project management. I did my certificate in project management as well.
Yeah.
And now I'm in Gold Coast
All right.
and just started to do this process. So a lot of questions, a lot of doubts.
Yeah, and I hope that I will be able to help you, and you can become a new electrical engineer here in Australia.
Yeah, I wish you as well.
Yeah.
Well, my first question, can I start to
Yes,
give
yes,
you
you
the
can,
question?
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my first question is how can I use this is my background, this is my Australian study background in my validating process. How can I use this diploma in project management in certificate for use? You've told in the lives that we can engineers Australia is very restricted about the job title, about the subject of the study, but I would like to know about your another students, if they use it in the process, how they use it, and yeah, that's it.
Of course. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, first of all, the Cert 4 and the diploma in project management, for the validation of your, for example, your electrical engineering degree, it will help in your CPD, in your continuing professional development. You most certainly, you can include your Cert 4 and your diploma in your CPD. Yeah, that's no worries. In terms of using perhaps your studies as a career episode, it's probably not good. One, because the Cert 4 and the diploma here in Australia, the education system has like a AQF, is the Australian Quality Framework, and you've got from like level 1, which is Cert 1, obviously Cert 2, Cert 3, Cert 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Diploma is AQF 5, and then advanced diploma is AQF 6, and so on. And the bachelor degree, if I'm not wrong, is AQF 7 or 8. So if you're going to use your Cert 4 or diploma, which is AQF 4 and 5, it doesn't quite match with the AQF of the bachelor degree, which is the university degree. So if you're trying to become a professional engineer using the Australian Quality Framework 7 or 8, it's not good if you use experiences from level 4 or level 5, because Engineers Australia will say, sorry, but the experience that you just provided to us, it does not qualify equivalent to a bachelor degree. It is obviously a Cert 4 or a diploma level. So, but you can use your studies in your CPD. But that's not to say that you cannot use project management experiences in your career episode. Do you have a particular maybe experience or example that you're thinking about using in your career episodes or not? Just briefly.
Yeah, actually, I've done some work as an electrical engineer doing emitting some IRTs, IRTs in Brazil, where I use project management and electrical engineer. But I don't know how can I use this in this process, because you've told that there's a lot of documents that we have to raise, we have to put together to prove this experience. So yes, I did some works as an electrical engineer, but the only thing that I have today maybe is the IATs. So
and, you know, the ARTs, they're quite powerful. One, because they are documents that were done by the CREA, and the CREA being like a government sort of entity, or it's an official institution, you know, so that has a lot of credibility. So it is one way for you to use as evidence of your experience. Your project management knowledge can be used in some of the competencies, especially competencies from the category of PE3, which is about the personal and professional attributes. There's a little bit of a project management experiences and examples that you can use in those competencies, like communications management, stakeholder management, human resources with the teamwork, and those sort of things. So when you did your electrical work, your electrical experience, if you used some of those project management techniques to deliver those electrical works, you can use that as part of your competency. What I mentioned during the workshop is that if you focus, as some engineers sometimes they focus on project management, just project management. And when you focus on project management, that's when obviously the Engineers Australia is going to say, sorry, but you used too much project management. We're interested to know about your engineering experience. So you just got to be careful. You can use some of the project management in some of the competencies, but obviously you need to focus on your engineering ability and engineering judgment and knowledge that you applied.
Well, I don't have much time, but just the last question is, what about my training experience? Like I did some training, like I worked in, like I said, in Instituto Federal de Santa Catarina as a professor for 1 year. So could I use on
what
the CPD?
What subject did you teach?
I teach like for the electrotechnical course and for the electrical engineer course, like a few subjects like energy systems, like industrial installations, like renewable energy. That's what I remember now, but that's it.
Yeah, you gotta just remember that the electrical engineer here in Australia, if you read the definition of the electrical engineer from the A and Z SEO occupation list, it talks about the design, installation, maintenance of electricity, etc., distribution, etc. So teaching that subject may not be a good experience. However, if you, let's say that if you developed a project to then teach or to show to the students as an example, that could be potentially used. For example, that you developed and you designed, let's say, a distribution line from the transmission from the generation until the distribution to the houses, whatever, or to the power substation. If you developed and designed the process that you had to do calculations and those sort of things and analysis, you could use that example as one of your career episodes. But if you got a material that was already developed and you were just teaching that material, that's probably not going to be good, because Engineers Australia may say, well, in this case, the experience that you're using is more for teachers. So you should be validating as a teacher. So, but if you develop the material, and for that you had to design, you had to analyze, you had to use your engineering judgment to put together that material, teaching was just one component of that. So like project management, teaching was just a minor part of your experience. The major part was that you developed the teaching material. So that's the sort of emphasis that you need to think about when you try to select the examples that you're going to use in your career episodes.
All right. Yeah, that's helping a lot, and also I want to say congratulations for your career and for your help for all these people in Australia struggling for having a life here, and it's pretty much all my doubts, all my questions, and I'll keep in touch. Probably in the future we make the validation process together. Good. I don't know. Yeah.
I will be here to help you. Yeah.
All right. I'll keep watching all your material. Okay. And congratulations, mate. You are so good for the people in Brazil and for the people who wants to become an engineer in Australia.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Bruno, for your words. That's what motivates me, so I can help all the engineers, because I know how difficult it is to do everything, and I don't want you guys to have the same difficulty that I had. Yeah. And that was very rewarding. Even today, I'm going to share with you guys, I was walking back I had lunch in the city, and then I was walking back to the office, and then when I was walking the footpath, somebody said, "Oh, you're the Brazilian." And I said, yes. "Oh, you're the one that the engineer that helps others," in Portuguese. And I said, yes, I am. "Oh, you're Gerson." Yes, I am. The girl had, her husband is an electrical technician. And,
all right.
And she was just asking if the husband could have a chat with me, etc. I said, well, yeah, that's my WhatsApp. He can call me and we can have a quick chat. There's not a problem. But and I said, I finally found somebody that watched my videos.
No, there's no many people doing what you do in Australia, man. There's no many people. Like the first time that a few years ago, I started trying to look up for some information in the internet. You are the only guy that has this quality of material. Of course, there's a lot of people with material on the internet, but with quality and consistency, there's no many.
And because I do this, obviously, I've got my mentoring program that I charge a fee, but I've got my full-time job, so I do I do that to help those people that they are there just to make money. Obviously, they're not going to spend. That's tonight is live number 177. So I didn't start yesterday. I started in 2019, and very consistent for the last 4 years. 177 lives, and the workshop that just gone past, it was workshop number 20. So
my God,
yeah, and a lot of free material. People can, as you probably saw, people can go to my YouTube channel and they can learn everything about the validation process. They don't need to join my mentoring program. If people want a little bit of help, they can join, but it's all there. They just need to invest time and watch my videos.
Read the booklet is good, but you break down everything and give some secrets. That's what's giving me motivation to us,
Yes, because digesting all the information in the booklet is a bit, So the information that I give is about the booklet, and obviously I give my my opinion and my interpretation on that, and some tips and hints what you should be doing and what you shouldn't really be doing. All good, Bruno. Well, thank you very much for participating, for your time as well, and I hope to catch up with you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Good night. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, so that was Bruno Gonçalves, the lucky winner of the free consulting service that I did the draw during the opening webinar that happened last Friday. So tonight we're going to keep going with I'm just going to take a screenshot. And tonight we're going to keep going with some question and answers. I don't know what happened. So looks like he's frozen. Yes, now it's all good. So we're going to keep with some question and answers. Questions that I received during the workshop. Liverpool was asking what this live is about, Gerson. So this live was to deliver the free 15 minutes of free consulting, and also to answer some questions that I received during the workshop. So I'm going to get the questions here. Maybe you were one of the ones that asked the questions, and if you have any other question, you can type in the comments, and I will be reading that. One question here, it talks about the reference letter. The question is about the reference letter of my work. How should it be, this letter? Should they specify and detail everything, or just to say that the engineer worked in there? So first of all, the reference letter is very important when you are going to use work experience as part of your career episode, and it should have at least the date that you started and the date that you finished, month, day, month, and year. Also the title or position that you occupied, obviously the name of the company, and if you were working full-time, part-time, and it's not mandatory, but it's good if they could put the base salary. If you're going to validate your work experience, you gotta have your base salary there. And also, very, very important, you have to list the main 5 activities that you performed during that time. And obviously, the letter needs to be on a company letterhead, papel timbrado, and also needs to be signed by your supervisor or somebody from the human resources department. The other question was about a very common question. How does it work for the fresh graduated? Is it possible to validate the qualification? Yes, it is. For the fresh graduated, let's say that you graduated, today is May, let's say that you graduated in February, March. Can you validate your qualification? Yes, you can. Even without work experience. Engineers Australia does not require work experience, and you can use your academic engineering experience to validate your engineering qualification. Obviously, I don't know if you heard during the chat with Bruno, but there is the ANZ SCO, the Australian and New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations. In that website from the Australian government, there will be the definition for all types of engineering that they have in there. And let's say I am a civil engineer, so there will be a definition for the civil engineers there. What you need to do when you are choosing your experience from work or from your studies, that experience needs to match the definition of your occupation. So why is that? Because sometimes what you understand, let's say civil engineer, what you understand about civil engineer in Brazil, I'm from Brazil, it doesn't quite match with the definition here in Australia. So you need to make sure that when you choose your experience, is an experience that matches with what Australia considers to be a civil engineer. Other question. Yeah, that's a common question as well. About the qualifications in Brazil, are they the same in Australia? As I said, the qualifications may not be the same. It could be parts of it, some parts of your qualification in Brazil. It could be similar to the ones here in Australia. For example, I'm assuming that civil engineers around Brazil, they studied the same thing that I did. I studied at the Federal University of Paraná State, but I studied hydrology, dams, bridges, roads, water treatment, sewage treatment, structures, calculations, those sort of things. That part is okay. It's very similar to the civil engineer here in Australia. However, the electrical design that we civil engineers, we can do in Brazil, they don't do here. So if you're going to write about your experience about when you design electrical circuits for a residential construction, for example, it's not going to be good here, because here civil engineers, they don't do electrical design. Also, in terms of a quality implementation, civil engineers, they do that in Brazil. Here in Australia, it's not really for civil engineers. A lot of the refurbishment and the fit outs of houses or shops that a lot of civil engineers, they do in Brazil, they don't do here in Australia. It's more for like builders. Industrial engineer, for example, Luana is, I think Luana is putting a question there. I have seen that production engineer is not the same here. Probably if I want to validate my diploma of production engineer here, I'll have to validate as a similar engineer, like industrial engineer. Yeah, production engineer, and I was very lucky that I worked with a production engineer when I was a consultant in Brazil. And we were doing similar things, optimization, process optimization, and productivity implementation, and those sort of things. So, but the production engineer also coordinates design So the process improvements and optimization, it can be leaning towards more like industrial engineer, as you said, Luana. So sometimes it is a little bit different. So that's why it's very important to focus and read very well the definition in the A and Z SEO occupation. All right, other questions there? That question is very important, very common as well. How to choose the best experiences for the career episodes to match with the competencies. One thing that I said already, you need to make sure that your experiences, they match with the definition from the ANZ SEO occupation. If they don't match, you run a high risk of Engineers Australia not to approve your qualification. So that's a real risk. So you need to make sure that your experience aligns with the SEO, ANZ SEO occupation definition. Another important thing when you are choosing your experience is to make sure that they are not too complex, but they are complex in nature. Why is that? If you choose a not so complex experience, you will probably have difficulties in demonstrating all 16 competencies that Engineers Australia will require. So it's important that your experience is a little bit more complex in nature, so you are able to address all 16 competencies. If you come across a very, very simple experience that it took you one day, let's say, to do it, in that day, you probably were not able to implement all areas that you need to demonstrate to Engineers Australia. So that's why I say that you need to think about a little bit more complex experience. The other thing important when you choose your career episodes is to choose an experience that you really applied your engineering judgment. You really utilized your engineering knowledge, that you utilized technical standards, that you utilize technical tools, methodologies, because those are the critical things that you will need to demonstrate while you are writing your career episodes. Another question here that's very common, is it better to validate in Brazil before going to Australia, or come to Australia and then validate? Obviously, it doesn't need to be in Brazil. If you are from Colombia or Peru or Indonesia or the Philippines, you can start your validation from your home country. And that's a good question. Let's see if you guys are listening to what I'm saying. Where are you from? Are you from Brazil and living in Australia, or maybe you are from Colombia, living in Colombia? So write in the comments, and then we'll see where you are from. So if you are, and then people ask me, Gerson, what's better? Validate here or validate offshore? And I keep saying, if you are, let's say that you live in the Philippines, and then you have a job as an engineer in the Philippines, but you want to validate your qualification. If you have a job in the Philippines, you are making your money, and you can manage to perhaps have a good English, or if you don't, you can study a little bit of English. My advice is to start your validation process while you are in the Philippines. Because one, you are working, so you are making your money. Two, if you are working, perhaps you can start doing few things at work that will help that will help in your validation process. You can document the experiences that you are working and utilize that in your validation process in the near future. You can, obviously, if you are very disciplined, you can then set aside some time and study English. But if you are planning really to come to Australia and then be here and then validate, yeah, that's fine. The only thing is that for those that participated in my opening webinar, I spoke about procrastination. When you come here, there will be a lot of competing objectives. Competing objectives could be even money, so you can pay for your course, pay for your visa renewal, pay for your night outs, pay for your travels. That's money. So you may not have enough money then to pay for validation. So there will be a lot of things that will be very tempting for you not to do your validation, even not to study very well English, and then it can delay. So you need to be thinking about validation. How is it going to be as your priority? If it is a priority, obviously then you will not do many things for you to do your validation process. Liverpool Drukpa is asking, and sorry, you told me your name during the workshop, but I forgot already, sorry. Can I validate while I am onshore? Yes, of course. If you are onshore here in Australia, you can validate. Yeah, that's no worries. Is it possible, Nick Lador is saying, is it possible to use a career episode based on a job experience as an electrical technician, given that I want to validate as an electrical engineer? Yeah, that's a very good question. You need to remember that if you are going to apply as a professional engineer, which is these levels and those competencies, the competencies of PE, professional engineer. But if you're going to use experience as an electrical technician, you need to think that technicians usually, when they perform the work in a lower level. If you perform the work in a lower level like a technician, and if you're trying to validate as a professional engineer in a higher level, there is a gap between your experience and what you want. So that gap can be a problem. Engineers Australia may say to you, sorry, but the experience that you used is low level. You are applying for professional engineer, but the experience that you're using is a technician. So it's not a good experience. So that's most certainly what they're going to tell you, that the experience is not going to be good. All right. Liverpool is also asking, what are English language requirements? Yes, there are minimum English tests, scores that you need to obtain. So you can do IELTS, you can do TOEFL, and you can do a PTE. So IELTS is about 6, minimum of 6 in every band, and PTE will be minimum of 50. Nicola Durr saying, as long as they are complex enough. Yeah, they could be complex for a technician, but what is complex for a technician may not be complex for a professional engineer. So that's what you need to be careful about. You need to read the PE, the professional engineering competencies, and then see if the activities that you did, they are at the level of the professional engineer. All right, we almost finishing. I'll have a look at some other questions. And as I said, we're going to have another question and answer sessions on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Same time, 8 p.m. On Wednesday, we're going to talk with Wagner. I believe that he was here just before. And on Thursday, we're going to have a chat with Carla. Both are the winners of the free consulting that I did during the closing webinar. And also, for those that are still interested in my validation mentoring program, the enrollments are still open and you still have a very good discount, $600 discount with all the 9 extra bonuses. And in the end, the investment is just going to be $897. You can even split in 3 payments. But when you split in 3 payments, you add $50 in the deposit. So hurry up. The enrollments are going to be open until this coming Sunday, the 28th of May, 11:59 p.m. Brisbane time. I will be the first live class with my students already on the, I think, let me check the date. I think it's the 6th. June is going to be the 10th of June. 10th of June is going to be already my first question and answer sessions with my students. And then where you can purchase, you just need to go to my website, Validation Mentoring. Just type in here, validationmentoring.com, or you can go to my bio and the link is in my bio. All right, so last question. Last common question is, after I submit my application to Engineers Australia, how long does it take to get a result? So that question, because a lot of people, they live to the last minute and they want to know how long will it take for Engineers Australia to provide you with the outcome. Excuse me. Usually, it will take them about 10 weeks up to 15 weeks. So anything between 8 and 15 weeks, depending on, obviously, the number of applications that Engineers Australia is looking at. But what I saw recently from engineers and feedback that I get from engineers is that it's taking anything between 8 and 15 weeks. However, if you are really in a rush, you can pay an extra fee to Engineers Australia, and which is called a fast track. And Engineers Australia may come back to you with an outcome in about 4 weeks or 30 days. So, but you need to pay about $305, I think, $350 for the fast track. Another question that related to fast track, a lot of engineers, they get a little bit confused. It's about the free fast track skills assessment. When you go to Engineers Australia website, there is like this promotion that Engineers Australia is doing the skills assessment for free and also very quick. Yes, they are doing, but it's just for some eligible applicants. And those eligible applicants, usually they have already a permanent visa. So you just need to pay attention to what's written there, because there are some eligibility criteria for you to be doing the free fast track skills assessment. All right. Okay, so it's been already 42 minutes. So I would like to thank you guys very much for your participation. And then on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Brisbane time, I'm going to be back here having a chat with Wagner Priori. And also, I'm going to keep answering more questions that I received during the workshop. All right. So thank you guys very much. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you and bye-bye.